we just had a conversation with her this morning, about like starting like training. And she's 50-50, and I understand why, because she has like bills to take care of. She needs time.
Yeah, and then I feel bad because they're gonna try to open that movie theater.
All right.
You feel bad that it's gonna be cut.
Glad that it's not.
Oh, yeah?
That it was not in October. So she was planning to retire in August. And
No,
then
I haven't been there.
gets older, and I said, you can't do this thing. You spend 2 years with Evros.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, that's where we were at, yeah. So, all right. Are we ready, Jim? I'm going to call the city council meeting to order. The city council meeting for the city of Ashtabula. Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. If at this time you would please stand for a prayer and a pledge. Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all of us here today. In your assistance, further us so that in every word and work of ours, may it take its beginning from you, and so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Milberg, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Holman?
Present.
Mrs. Mills?
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Simeone?
Here.
Mr. Roskovich?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper? Mr. Khan?
Here. Yeah, Ms. Cooper will not be with us this evening. Before we met our sunshine law, we have our quorum established. So before we begin our agenda items, we will have the presentation of a resolution. It's a resolution of appreciation for Ineos Pigments for their community outreach project at the West 38th Street Park. Mr. Timonier.
So we're honored tonight to have Zoe McGinnis and Matthew McCormick from Eneos here to receive a resolution from council and our administration, thanking them for the project they did at West 38th Street Park. A resolution of appreciation for Eneos Pigments on their community outreach project at West 38th Street Park. Whereas it has come to the attention of this city council and these public officials of the city of Ashtabula, Ohio, Eneos Pigments has chosen West 38th Street Park as their community outreach project for 2025. And whereas Commissioners Ducro and City Manager Timonier worked with Ineos Community Outreach Committee advocating for the West 38th Street Park to be chosen for this year's project. And whereas the Eneos Community Outreach Committee chose the park for their project and organized their volunteers on September 27th, 2025 in the park. And whereas the Eneos Community Outreach Committee repainted the existing playground equipment, as well as the basketball hoop, and the basketball court was restriped. In addition, Eneos Pigments donated $2,800 to the city to be used to purchase a new swing set and seesaw for the West 38th Street Park. And whereas we are grateful to Eneos Pigments and their outreach committee for choosing West 38th Street Park and providing a much needed upgrade for the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this city council and these public officials of the city of Ashtabula, Ohio, do hereby convey our sincere appreciation and gratitude for your service and donation to our city. Thank you so much. And they do have a little presentation that they'd like to go through, and just for an update of what's going on at the park, the playground equipment, we ordered a new swing set and a new seesaw that has come in. The staff of the park decided to take this a little bit above and beyond, so we've dug out some areas. We're going to be putting down rubber mulch in those areas, and then hopefully, looks like in time for the snow to fly, we will have the swing set and seesaw installed over there, but could not have done this project without you guys, and we really appreciate it. So I'm going to let you take it through there. I'm going to grab it.
You want me to start off? Okay.
You can just use the advance button. And
Okay, you want to run the show? Hi, everybody. My name is Matt McCormick. I'm from Ineos Pigments. I'm head over the quality control department, and this is
Sure. I'm Zoe McGinnis, and I'm a technical support scientist at Ineos.
we serve on the community outreach program, so that we just a little background on this, won't take too much of your time. We look around the area in Ashtabula County where we can serve and give time and resources from the company to try and better the community. This year we, saw a couple different places, and this project seemed really right up our alley. A lot of the equipment just needs some TLC, some time, some resources, and some attention. So we were able to do that. We went around with JP Ducro probably in the area of April, and we're scouting out places, and we were checking out some other playgrounds in the area, and this one was just right up our alley as far as needs and being able to complete it. So we thank Jim and all of his resources to be able to partner with us. I was just telling him the intent is that we fully take on these projects, but just to have him piggyback, and you'll see some of the other vendors in the area that were able to contribute monetarily and in resources to help, make our budget go farther. So it was really nice. Go ahead. Here, I'll hold this.
So we just wanted to share some before and after pictures of the park. As Matt and Jim both said, it really just needed some TLC and some attention that it hadn't gotten for a while. So here's the climbing structure. All we did was give it a fresh coat of paint, and it looks like a brand new structure. And then the slide, we removed some old paint that had been spilled down the sliding part and gave it a nice paint job. Here's the basketball hoop and court. We repainted the existing structure, and then the city provided a net to be installed. And then we were also able to work with Blair Seal Coating, and they donated their time to put in the new striping, so that way the kids have a nice half-court basketball court to play on. And then, as Matt mentioned, it was a group project with the city. They did help us with a lot of the stuff. They removed that broken portion of the fence and then also cleaned up a lot of the landscaping. And I don't have a good after picture of the landscaping, but it looks great. You guys should all go by and see it.
Guys were saying we gotta go back when the grass is nice and fresh in the spring, so.
Yeah. And then the merry-go-round was cleaned and painted as well. And the ongoing work, as Jim mentioned before, here's the old seesaw. It was pretty sad and broken, so we were able to work together to purchase new equipment, and that's in the process of being installed. And then here's the old swing set structure as well. So we'll have some exciting after pictures very soon, hopefully. Here's all the local businesses that helped us out. We got generous donations from all of these local businesses, so please support them. And then this is our volunteers from Ineos, but we also had the Parks and Rec Department as well as the City of Ashtabula helping out that day. So we appreciate everybody for coming in and helping out. And that's the presentation.
Mr. President,
Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Yes.
yes. So while Mr. Timonier did speak on behalf of council, as the Ward 3 council person, I'd like to speak on behalf of the residents of Ward 3 and the children who need more places to play outdoors. A sincere appreciation for the time and effort. It was well organized, it was well attended, and again, thank you all for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome to stay, but you don't have to if you'd like. If you feel free to leave. And thank you again. Thank you. All right, we will continue on with our meeting. I believe we will have I will make a motion to entertain an executive session at the conclusion of our work tonight, at what time we will return to our chamber here, but no action will be taken. So I will move for an executive session to discuss employee compensation. No, employee,
To discuss collective bargaining negotiations.
okay.
Second.
A motion and a second by Mrs. Foglio. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero? Yes. Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Thank you. And like I said, that'll be at the conclusion of our citizens portion, and then we will go into executive session. When we come out, we will just adjourn. We have minutes to approve.
October 20th, 2025 regular council meeting was called to order at 7 PM by Council President Roskovich. Ward 4 Councilor Mills offered the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg. Absent was Mrs. Foglio.
Thank you. May I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves, Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of, by a 7-0 vote. Thank you, Ms. Milberg. City Council report. We have some appointments. Last week, the discussion of some committee items came up, so we will have some appointments and reappointments. And then at the end, we will have, I think at the end of each line, we will have a voice vote. We would like to reappoint Mr. Ken Daniel to the Parks and Recreation Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will do so by a 7-0 vote. We will have the reappointment of Mr. David Payne to the Historic Preservation Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? He will be reappointed by a 7-0 vote. We will have the appointment of Chrissy Spillman to the Planning Commission for the City of Ashtabula. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? She will be appointed by a 7-0 vote. And we will have the appointment of Mr. Frank Brown to the Architectural Historic Preservation Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? He will be appointed by a 7-0 vote. There are still a few committee appointments to go, and we're working on that, and Mr. Timonier, I know, is working on that also. Just a reminder for the upcoming events on November 17th, our council meeting will begin at 5:30 with a work session with the ad hoc committee on racism as a health issue. And then on November 29th, or 28th, which is a Friday, we will have swearing in of council members as a result of the November 4th election. And then on December 1st, we will have a variety of meetings. We will have our organizational meeting, a budget hearing, our work session, and then our regular council meeting. And I think we said that will start at 5:30, right, with all those meetings, so, okay. All right, seeing nothing else? Any counselors?
Do you want me to ask for the resolution now or in new business?
You can do that now if you'd like.
I'd like to request a resolution for Mr. Foltz to be presented to his widow for his work at the Veterans Park between the years 2018 and 2023. The hope is that this can be presented on Veterans Day at that event.
I don't know how that would.
I can present. I know he wanted me and you, Jim, to do it. If you can, I can.
I typically do attend the ceremony. I don't know how you adopt it before presenting it.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
you just adopt it tonight. Do you have it,
We could do that. Which
has it been
reminds,
circulated to council?
no.
No, he, Mr. Dibble had written it, and I think both you and I had a copy, and I had sent a copy to the president.
I was concerned about procedure, resolutions need to be requested at an open council meeting, they need to be adopted at an open council meeting, and then they are usually written by Mr. Timonier or Ms. Milberg, based on information that they glean from the family or the businesses and so forth. So I appreciate all the effort and extra, that went into the request, but I think it's important that we follow our established procedures.
So how can we make this happen?
You're gonna have to get signatures on it too before the event.
Yeah. When the event is next Tuesday? Tuesday, the 11th, right? Yeah, I don't know how you would. Tuesday, yeah. I don't know how you would get all the signatures in,
Would counselors be willing to stop in and sign?
You have a meeting on Wednesday this week, right?
Yes, I do.
So that'll be a few of you. I just don't know adopted, I guess that's a question for the solicitor, but
Yeah,
adoption-wise, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
present it and then
yeah.
adopt it at the next council meeting.
Yeah, I can't see where, we'll just have to do it after the fact. Like I said, I'm always leery about presidents, because then somebody can come along further down the road and say, you did it this way, which I've seen, what we have seen happening this year, so. Make the request,
I just did.
okay?
Need someone to move on it?
The second,
Sure.
Mrs. DiGiacomo has requested a resolution for Mr. Foltz.
So, Mr. President,
Yeah.
is it, once again, not knowing all the procedures,
Yeah.
can we just take like a practice vote or a preliminary vote to make sure that it's gonna go through? That way, we're gonna give this resolution and then we're not gonna vote on it till after we give it. I'm assuming it's not gonna be an issue, but
Yeah, that's,
that just seems a little weird.
well, let's request a resolution, let's compile it, when we can get a hold of Ms. Cooper, maybe she can give us some direction on the best way to move forward. Because I'm not sure how to do that, like I
Mr.
said-
President, so, for what it's worth, Mr. Foltz, for all those years, did organize almost all of the events that took place in Veterans Park that were around those days. He was wonderful to work with, much as the two gentlemen that are doing it now. I don't have to worry about any of that except for making sure the park is in shape for everybody to show up and praying for good weather. So he was a good steward of the park and of those events, and very deserving of the recognition from council, in my opinion, for what it's worth, so.
So why can't we just vote on it now? What?
Well, again, I'm not the lawyer, but you all haven't seen the language of it, and you would, much like you're saying, be voting blind on it tonight, unless you wanted to read it. I don't know if that would suffice to,
Can I just email it to everyone right now?
well, I don't think everybody would, I'm not sure how you interlineate during the meeting into the, I know it's been done before, where you add an item to the agenda during the meeting.
How
I
long?
just,
Can't you just read it?
It's a
I
long.
don't have my glasses on, but sure.
All right, let's do
I
this.
think maybe if you were to request to be added to the agenda tonight, take the vote on that, and then after we do the regular voting, have that as a separate one where Mr. Giacomo can read it. So don't waive the reading of it, still waive the 2 readings of it,
Yeah.
don't waive the reading of it. Then at least it's in the record that it was here and requested, and then you can all vote on it after hearing the language. It's gonna be my assumption.
Okay.
So here's the crazy question. So everybody, you're gonna learn a little secret about Stacy and I. I send her these really small print things, and then she blows them up for me so I can read them without my glasses. But can I send this to you now, and you send it to the printer?
We can't print onto that one in here.
I'll just stretch the screen out. I'll read it. Do you want me to read it right now? No?
I think you can do it during
We'll do it, yeah.
your passage of legislation.
So we have a request and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will have a resolution be drawn up by a 7-0 vote. Before we go on, we need to go back to the presentation that we had this evening, Resolution 2025-185. And I skipped over that, so maybe we have a resolution to adopt 2025-185.
Need a motion?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll move.
Mrs. Foglio moves,
Second.
Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Oh, I did want to add a comment for discussion. Both Berlicia and I were there that day when they were working on it, and they were absolutely fabulous to work with.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We adopt that resolution by a 7-0 vote. I apologize for that oversight. Okay, we will go on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'm requesting an ordinance to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of the West 48th Street State Route 84 from Park Avenue to East 46th Street.
I will move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Ms. Holman will second. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Manager, can you go over what we said in pre-council? Because knowing that this stops at East 46th, and there's numerous complaints from turning off the bridge from, and it's East 46th going to West 45th.
Yeah,
What
this is
possibly might happen?
This is a state route project, so we can't, the funds that were obtained for this, which is a $1.2 million grant that I received, plus there'll be additional funds that we have to put on top of this. But it is State Route 84, which encompasses from Park Avenue to East 46th Street. It stops at East 46th Street. We're exploring different options to look at taking it up East 46th Street and also down to 45th Street with the concrete. It wouldn't be a full depth removal as we're doing with this project, but there are things that we believe we can do if the budget allows to fix those stretches. Right now, our participation amount is estimated to be $385,000. Recall that with our paving levy, we get about $900,000 a year, so this takes a pretty big chunk of our paving money for next year.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 7-0 vote.
Next, I'm requesting an ordinance to enter into a contract with Union Industrial Contractors here in Ashtabula for the purpose of providing labor and materials to make repairs to the Holbert parking lot to control water runoff in the amount not to exceed $26,157. The expense will be paid from Fund 412.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Mr. Guerrero. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it by a 7-0 vote.
Just a few announcements. Just remember, we are still picking up leaf bags curbside. We are in the harbor this week, and that goes until November 24th is our last week of pickup. We did have a visit from the Coast Guard. There is a new commander in the Buffalo District. He came up to visit and introduce himself, and we were able to talk through some of the issues we've had with the station. I wish I had better news to report, but it does look like it could be years before they return back to our station. They will be here for events that we request them at, which, as you know, Wine and Walleye, we always request them. We need help shutting down the river for the fireworks. Also, we have several boats out for the fishing tournament, and of course, the lighted boat parade at night. So they do come in to assist us with all of that. We did go over a bunch of different scenarios with them. They were very appreciative that we do have the response that we have, but we also made it very clear to them that this is not what we do. Because it could be an extended period of time where they do not occupy Station Ashtabula, we have asked for some assets that the Coast Guard has to be moved closer. We discussed a couple different other scenarios as far as response time with them. But we, over the wintertime here, are going to regroup and really take a hard look at what else we may need to fill this gap for the time that they are not returning to Station Ashtabula. Yet again, and something we are taking on without additional funding, and but it's the right thing to do. Obviously, with the 2 lives that we did save, it's well worth the effort that we've put in so far. And we've already requested the executive session tonight to discuss the collective bargaining negotiations. And Mr. President, that's all I have for my report.
I have a question, Mr. President. So what exactly is the status of the station itself?
So the station itself, they still are renting. They do come here often to check on it, but they have given no indication that they will be breaking that lease. So the station or the property is actually owned by the city's Port Authority. The building was construction and paid for in full by the Coast Guard, but obviously if they ever abandon the station, we get the building. But right now, there's no talks of them breaking the lease.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for the manager?
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I'm aware that it wasn't a part of your report, but will you give the residents just a quick update on both the Pittman project and the CSX bridge?
Overpass, yes.
Yeah,
So the Petman project, we have not had much communication with them since the November 2024 election. I don't know if there's a coincidence in that or not, but we hadn't had much outreach from them. We did about 2 months ago have a conference call with them. I had a conference call with them. They are not saying it outright, but I'm getting the feeling that the project is not going to be performed anymore. But they are still doing a lot of exploratory work. But we haven't seen much activity, and it's been a long time. They do have over $80 million invested in this project, but I don't think at this time that it looks promising.
Mr. City Manager, how much money do we have invested in that?
What I'm trying to remember is when we had the roads paved in that area, we received a grant. Petman threw in money and Kinder Morgan threw in money. So if there is anything, we may have paid a small portion of the East 6th Street, Columbus Avenue Extension, and Park, the entrance that goes into Penny Dock. I think it's called Park Park something, Park View, can't remember the name of that road. But we did some work in that area with that grant funding. We paid a very small portion of that. So that would really be the only money we had in there, but roads that still get used quite a bit.
And what was the 80 million that they invested?
Oh, gosh, research and development, they have they purchased the property down there. So they own that actual property on Kinder Morgan's dock. They pay a rental fee to Kinder Morgan. They have office space still in Ashtabula on Bridge Street that they pay. A lot of the engineering, and then they, as far as I know, still have agreements with the power company and the gas company for work that was to be done. The illuminating company actually did put poles up and did some retrofit of their substation out on Lake Avenue in anticipation of the project as well.
Thank you.
How about the gas line they were building from Pennsylvania? Is that there?
That is not all the way to Ashtabula yet. I think it stops in Kingsville somewhere. It stops in either Kingsville or Conneaut.
Okay.
But that, regardless of this project, we would really like to get that to the industrial park.
Yeah, okay. It's just not there yet.
Correct.
Thank you.
And the underpass? Yeah.
And your underpass was the second question. So since the meeting that I organized that was unfortunately cut short, I have had no discussion and no response back to my inquiries about the bridge.
Thank you.
Anything else? The city solicitor, Ms. Cooper, is not here with us this evening. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have an ordinance to make supplemental increases and decreases to appropriations in the general fund, workers' compensation fund, public works fund, AMC court security fund, wastewater and sanitation funds, law library fund, and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Ashtabula, state of Ohio for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2025, in the amount of $492,850.99.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Mr. President, I move on the finance director's recommendation.
Mrs. Foglio moves. I will second. Any discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Can I ask Mr. Khan, I'm not sure what this, the 220,000, that's that county sewer distribution that pays on the, can you explain that one?
Yes.
Okay.
That account line was not budgeted correctly last year. And this is basically the city of Ashtabula collects sewer fees from the town of Saybrook and the town of Ashtabula, and we need to reimburse them.
So you mean like
at some point?
both
Yep.
of the townships? Okay.
So we collect on their behalf, and then at some point we have to pay them back what we collected for them. And it's $220,000.
Okay.
Mr. President, Ms. Mills, so as you know, the sewer lines that are within the city limits are all maintained and owned and operated by the city. Once they leave that city limit, it becomes a county system. So there are those residents that are in those townships which their laterals and sewer come to the plant. They're actually charged both by the county and by the city. So we do collections for some, the county does collections for some, and we trade the money back and forth of who owes who what.
Because it wasn't done last year or the year before, there's no back pay or anything, that's just current expenses? Okay. All right,
This
thank
is
you.
what we owe them,
Pardon?
what we collected for them.
All of them, okay.
So we'll have, so this is like a new line item, like a new, in our budget? Or we
It's-
kind of,
It's a normal line, it has been there.
okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of adding this to our agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We would do so by a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Ms. Milberg, do you have anything for us this evening?
I don't have anything.
Okay. No grand openings? We've been having so many grand openings, but none tonight? All right. All right, thank you. We will go on to our committee reports, community development and economic development.
Our committee meeting will be Wednesday at 5:30 here.
Finance and personnel.
Our next meeting will be November 21st at 8:30.
And then I do believe we have a public works report.
I do. I'll try to make this short. We met on Tuesday, October 28th, here, and the city manager gave the water pollution control report. The outfall at the time was about 75% complete, and I'm thinking, Mr. Manager, we're a little more than that now?
We're still progressing. It's not complete yet, but we're getting there.
Okay.
It's in high rain events, it's being activated, so it's a good sign.
Okay, good. The contractor is currently backfilling the roadway and working to restore the site. Staff is coordinating with Control Associates to procure and install the new outfall flow meter. At the last meeting, we had some expenses for the UV disinfecting system. So pretty soon that's going to be shut down and winterized. I think that was for the end of October. Xylem purchased was revised to remove the tariff language after reviewed by the solicitor's office. We talked about that at the last meeting. Preventative maintenance completed includes replacement of the heater on the skid steer and replacement of ear lift cylinders for the tailgate of the Freightliner dump truck. The fuel pump and injectors were rebuilt and installed on the generator the week of the 17th. Was tested and good. The plant generator was rewired to the electrical substation on October 18th. The rental equipment was returned the week of October 20th, and they did the oil changes on that. So the generator's going well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, we have, the manager met with Chris Tolner from GPD to discuss ongoing upcoming projects. Carvo still had some items on the punch list. Are we done with the paving?
We are done with the paving. They still have a couple items on the punch list, and they have not, we have not reconciled the ending bill yet. We're
Okay.
still waiting on them.
Sidewalk repairs on Main Avenue are planned for next year. Sidewalk replacement and repairs on West Avenue will be coordinated at the same time. They're looking at different options for the building at the sanitation department, for the hoop-style roof system over the pit. Issues with the camera system and ground loops for the traffic signal, Lake Avenue, West 19th. So that's going to be replaced with a radar system. That's going to be about $40,000, and it's going to be going out for bid. The manager will be sending the list of paving requests over to GPD to determine 2026 paving project. And then we talked about, we're going to spend $385,000 for the Collins Boulevard, the $1.5 million. So we will only have about, let's see, $500,000?
Probably closer to 6.
About 6. Left for 2026. Okay, so not too much there. Public Works report, Mr. Milnick gave that. Still doing potholes, patching. You can still drop your leaf bags at West 24th once the curbside ends on November 24th. The asphalt plant will be closing in December, giving time they can still use hot materials out there. Unfortunately, the street sweeper is down again. Is that still the?
It is.
The work being done on that sweeper, though, is under warranty, correct?
Yes.
So I did inquire what the cost was for a new one. It's about $300,000. So that's for Santa Claus. I guess we have to ask for that. I did ask for an update on the recycling program. The manager stated council would have the budget by the end of the week. They can see what he and the finance director are predicting. They're in the process of applying for the EPA grant. However, the city still needs that $100,000 match. We did adjourn the meeting. We did take a tour of the West 24th Street plant. I'd like to thank Mr. John Milnick and the crew. They had things looking good, cleaned, organized. The building is so dated. I mean, they are doing amazing work there with what they have to do. I got to see the new, is it foam-filled? The foam-filled
The
tires?
tires?
Yeah, those are really cool, and the guys love them. So I guess it makes a big difference. I know they're kind of pricey, but makes a big difference. So that was really nice. They rolled out the red carpet. That was great. Our next meeting is going to be November 25th, and I did want to make a reminder. We are supposed to have snow on Monday, lake effect possibly. So just a reminder to plan, make a plan as far as your house, make a plan for your car, that you have a snow scraper, that if you have somebody who plows or shovels your driveway, because the first one is always the worst one. So, and that was it.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I have a question. Ms. Mills, could you just say a little bit more about the replacement of that light at West and Lake? You mentioned something about a radar.
Yes, there were some issues with that underground. Mr. Timonier, if you could elaborate on that,
Sure.
the options as far as the
Yeah.
way we had it before and the way the radar.
Traffic lights at Lake Avenue, West Avenue, and West 19th Street. The ground loops that are in the roadway detect when the vehicle approaches and then cycles the lights. So there typically is 2 lanes that are always on green unless those are cycled. When there's an interruption in that signal, it just freely rotates on a schedule. So right now, the ground loops are not working properly, and the card that reads those ground loops is not working properly. Because of the age of the system, and there is also a camera. If you're heading north on Lake Avenue as you approach the bridge, you can't put ground loops on the bridge. So there is a camera on one of the poles that detects when the cars are there and cycles that one through. The camera is no longer working, it's outdated. And in order to get a camera for that system, you have to buy kind of one that you hope works. So rather than going through all of this, I would like to replace all of the intersections with radar technology. So it basically it works better than cameras, especially in inclement weather, and it senses when those cars are at those locations and then cycles the lights through their program. In addition to that, we found that one of the horns that detects the preemption when emergency vehicles come through was not operating as it should. That is also going to be replaced in that cabinet. So that light was all designed and installed when they redid the bridge. So it's has good technology at that time, but that technology is wearing out, and there's a lot of components that need to be replaced.
And do we have a sense of the cost of the replacement?
The radar system and the card is about $40,000. I think the other work that we've had done to it has amounted to about $7,000 so far. They were able to find the issue that was causing the no right turn arrow to come on and cycle through. They were able to identify that and make that repair. But because of our spending and because of our bidding requirements, I can't act as quickly as we'd like to get this thing fixed. So we're going through the processes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
But just so everybody, the traffic light is safe. It does cycle the way it's supposed to. It's not as efficient because it's not detecting when cars are there to keep other traffic flowing. So.
thank you, Mr. Timonier. And I would just add on to what Mrs. Mills has said about the Public Works building on 24th Street. It was interesting, and the guys, you know, those guys are fantastic. They do a good job. But that building is old. It's over 70, probably closer to 80 some years old. And you could walk through there and look up and see sky, and that's just not good. So that's gonna need our attention. And I'm thankful for Mr. Timonier and Mr. Melnick for taking a proactive approach to that. So hopefully, you know, we could address that, because like I said, it's an important asset for the city, but it's old, you know. So, Safety Forces Committee,
We will be meeting on November 13th, which is Thursday. And there was a little confusion. That was a long time Tuesday meeting. You know, a couple months ago, we switched it to Thursday. And I did get a call on like, where's the meeting? So I just want to say that that's Thursday, the 13th, at 8:30, right here.
thank you, Mr. Guerrero. The Planning Commission, I'm not sure when they were meeting this month. It should be the 20th, I think, November 20th. But I haven't received an agenda yet for that. And the Historic Preservation Committee will be meeting next week, and I haven't received that agenda yet, item yet either, so. If there are items for the agenda, then those meetings will be held. The Ad Hoc Committee will be meeting with us on November 17th at 5:30. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Holman?
We completed that racial wealth gap simulation with ARMC and all of their management team. It was about 60 folks who showed up, and it went very well, very successful. And thanks members from this body who showed up and participated in that as well.
Thank you. And then the naming committee has been busy, and Mrs. Foglio or Mr. Guerrero, one of you want to talk about that?
Okay, well, these ladies in the back here have requested us to put one of those memorial plaques like we have for Mr. Meyer and Connie Schultz for Mr. Morrison, who is the founder of Molded Fiberglass and invented that Corvette body. And it's just a general civic leader in general. And they came to the committee that handles that, and we were all in favor for it. And we are going to ask the city council to vote on that when you say we can, to allow them to continue forward with the help of the city manager to decide exactly what we're going to put there, how it can be fit, what it's going to cost, those types of things. But definitely, they have put a lot of effort into this project, and the committee, of course, voted to go along with it, but that would be whatever council wants to do. But he's definitely very worthy of recognition in this town. He's employed thousands of people here, so.
Mr. President, I'd like to thank Mary Kay Davis and Kay Shack Kane for all their work. I mean, they have just done everything that they've been asked to do, so we appreciate your work.
And I think when you'll bring it to the council, I think we need to, the concern was, we already have 2 signs up, and we don't want to put one down in the bottom. So I think Mr. Timonier and his his office will be studying the best way to redo these signs so that each one will get the prominence or the attention that it should. We don't want one sign down too low, and we want everything to look right. So when that is addressed, then it will come to council. The naming committee will bring it to council, and then we will vote on it at that time. Is that okay?
Mr. President, just to clarify, you want us to design the signs, the signage and everything first, and then
I think the
bring it to
sign
council?
is pretty much designed.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Did you get that paper?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like I said, Mr. Meyer's sign is pretty big on top, and then you have Mrs. Schultz
Yeah.
below that, and then we don't want to put one, on the ground or anything, so we need the,
Mr. President, as I mentioned, I think taking kind of an inventory of where we have some of these entrance areas, and, we do still have some old Rotary and Kiwanis and Lions Club signs and stuff around, so this would be a good time to kind of redesign
okay.
an entrance sign and then decide where areas we'd like to put those in. If you notice the one across the street at the YMCA, it's kind of more of a modernized one that was done, I think, kind of sticking with that theme and then figuring out how we can position all these signs so they are all given equal prominence would be good.
Okay,
I'll work with the committee on that, sure.
yeah, and then when the committee has that all finalized, it'll come before council. Okay? All right. Until that time, do you think it would be a good thing if each counselor drove around in a Corvette?
This one right here.
Yeah,
Take it.
that might be a good thing to honor. No. All right, thank you. That would be. Before Monday? Oh, this
Yeah.
Monday. Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to the public, our legislation for this evening. We have 3 items. An ordinance with ODOT for the reconstruction of West 48th and part of Park Avenue, from Park Avenue to East 46th Street. An ordinance for increases and decreases in various funds, and an ordinance for the repairing of the Halbert Hill parking lot. Would anyone in the audience like to address any of those items? Seeing no one, Ms. Milberg, will you read us tonight's legislation?
Ordinance number 2025-186, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of West 48th Street, State Route 84, from Park Avenue to East 46th Street. Ordinance number 2025-187, an ordinance to make supplemental increases and decreases to appropriations in the general fund, Workers' Compensation Fund, SCMR Public Works, AMC Security, WPC Wastewater, Sanitation, Law Library, and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-188, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Union Industrial Contractors, Inc. for the purpose of providing labor and materials to make repairs to the Hulbert parking lot.
Is it council's desire to handle these 3 items in consent agenda format?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Ms. Holman. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will do so by a 7-0 vote. I will entertain a motion to waive the reading of all this legislation in its entirety.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosvik, second by Mrs. Foglio. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the entire reading by a 7-0 vote. We will need a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Mrs. Mills seconds. Is there any discussion? Would you please call the roll, Ms. Milberg?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive the 2 readings by a 7-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of these items. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
All of these 3 items of legislation have passed by a 7-0 vote. We will now go to unfinished business. I believe we moved for a resolution request from Ms. Mrs. DiGiacomo.
And you want me to read that now?
I guess this would be the time to do that. Okay.
So, a resolution recognizing and honoring posthumously Staff Sergeant Monte R. Foltz for his distinguished military service and his dedicated leadership as chairman of Ashtabula Veterans Park from 2018 to 2023. Whereas Ashtabula City Council desires to recognize and honor posthumously the outstanding service of Staff Sergeant Monte R. Foltz, a citizen who demonstrated exceptional dedication to our nation, our veterans, and our community. And whereas Monte R. Foltz proudly served his country in the United States Army 101 1st Airborne Division during the Vietnam War from July 1968 through July 1970, achieving the rank of Staff Sergeant. And whereas Monte displayed courage, loyalty, and a steadfast commitment to his fellow soldiers and his country during one of the most challenging times in American history. And whereas following his honorable military service, Monte continued his lifelong dedication to veterans and the Ashtabula community by serving as chairman of Veteran Park from 2018 to 2023, leading efforts to honor, preserve, and enhance the park as a place of remembrance, reflection, and respect for those who served. And whereas Monte's leadership, passion, and unwavering commitment to his fellow veterans have left a lasting impact on the city of Ashtabula, the veterans community, and all who visit Veterans Park. And whereas Monte passed away on November 18, 2023, but his extraordinary contributions, leadership, and devotion to his fellow veterans will continue to inspire the citizens of Ashtabula for generations to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, that the Ashtabula City Council, on behalf of the veterans and the citizens of our community, hereby recognize and honor posthumously Staff Sergeant Monte R. Foltz for his exemplary military service in the United States Army 101 1st Airborne Division during the Vietnam War, and for his outstanding leadership as chairman of Ashtabula Veteran Park from 2018 to 23, that the city of Ashtabula extends its deepest gratitude to Monte's family, his friends, and the veteran community he so proudly served. That this resolution shall be formally presented posthumously during the Veterans Day ceremony to be held at Ashtabula Veterans Memorial Park on Tuesday, November 11, 2025 at 11 o'clock a.m. in honor and remembrance of Monte's service and legacy.
Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Okay, I will make the motion.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, and Ms. Holman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will adopt the resolution by a 7-0 vote. Is there any new business before council this evening?
Mr. President,
Yes.
there is a liquor license on there. It's just a
Oh, I'm
change.
sorry.
Um,
Oh, oh, yeah, okay. Liquor license application for Renix Meat Market. I thought they already had a liquor.
It's just a
A renewal?
change
Oh, change.
in, what do they call it? Membership interests.
Okay, so the owners or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so just a change on the names on the application and such. Mr. Guerrero, this is your ward. Any,
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier today. What exactly is the change?
I don't know who
It
owned it.
looks on there, it was Jen and Alex, and now it's just Jen,
Oh, okay.
the owner,
Oh, all right,
when
yeah,
you scroll down through.
okay.
Yeah, from a Ward 2,
Yeah,
position,
it just,
we don't have a problem with it.
it went from 2 to 1. Okay. All right, very good. So that, there will be no further action taken on that. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out, Ms. Milberg. All right. Any other new business before council this evening? Okay. Does anyone have anything tell us something we don't know?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I've just a reminder, that's coming up next Thursday. It's the 2026 Comprehensive Plan Update Public Forum. So I encourage everybody, if you have time, it's at the library from 6 to 7:30, to attend, share your thoughts on the future of Ashtabula. And it's going to have different stations, kind of interactive, kind of where we're at, what we've done so far, and community input. So there's going to be, Mr. Manager, it's 3 public forums, correct? And each one, they're not going to be all the same, like building. So hopefully, if you can get to this first one, and we encourage people to go to all 3. Am I giving correct information?
Mr. President, yes, Ms. Mills, there will be a minimum of 3. Right now, the 3 that we have scheduled are, as you mentioned, at the library on November 13th. The second one will be at Kent State University, and the last one will be at the Ashtabula Hospital in their community room. We do encourage everyone to go to all 3 of them to provide input, because all 3 meetings will be different and there'll be different updates during it. And we truly want the public's input on this, because this is the plan for as we move forward. So we want people to tell us what their opinions are of the different items, where the focus areas should be, so that we can develop the plan around that.
13th, next Thursday. And then what are the dates for the last 2 ones?
They aren't until next year, but we will be publishing
Oh,
all
so
of
you
that
don't
soon.
have 'em.
I
Yes.
think they're March
I
and
think it was March
June
and
or
June.
something like that. I don't know, we have an agenda to June.
Thank you. Anything else, Mrs. Mills?
Yes, just kind of in light of, I know there's a lot of changes November 1st with it, SNAP benefits and food, food needs that are out there. I know on Facebook, there's community action, and I think the CDC has the 211 page. So it has all the food pantries for the city and for the whole county on there. So I think in the city, there's one almost every single day of the week. I know I was talking to the director of the GEO yesterday afternoon, and I know their Wednesday pantry the past week, it doubled what they normally would have coming to the door. So with that reminder for holiday help for toys and food, the Halo, the event to raise money is this Saturday, but registration for the toys and the food, I think it's next Friday, the 14th is a cutoff, and then the GEO's deadline is November 18th. So I mean, I know it seems a while away, but for folks, if you have anybody that has a need for food for a meal for Christmas and for toys for the kids, those deadlines are like in the next few weeks. So And always call 211 if there's something, if you're not sure, you don't have access to the computer, because I know there's just a big food need out there, so just wanted to throw that out.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills.
I made this announcement before, but just in case folks may have missed it, on Sunday, November 16th, there will be a program honoring our vets. There's a program and luncheon, and care packages will be given to the first 75 veterans who attend. It will be at the Hiawatha Church of God in Christ at 3417 Hiawatha Avenue in Ashtabula. Lead pastor is Stephen Sargent. And folks can contact Kimberly Adams for any additional information.
Thank you. Anyone else? I will just say, remember, now that the summer is over and the tourist season is, coming to a slowdown, make sure you keep supporting our local businesses, because not as many people will be coming into town and stuff. So, we want to make sure that we keep supporting them throughout the year. And then also, I just want to comment too, between all the trunk or treat things and all the school parties and this or that, and I thought to myself, do we still really need Halloween? But then Saturday night driving down Walnut Boulevard, I thought, yeah, we still need Halloween. It was just fantastic. The amount of people, I thought I was coming out of the stadium or something. There were so many people. And so I think that's great. And I know that occurred in other parts of the town as well, the east side and so forth. But kudos to the residents, who, I saw people setting up tents and tables and I will say there were quite a few golf carts out. But anyway, kudos to the residents for that. And it was a nice thing to see.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I live on Walnut Boulevard, and it was 936 pieces of candy we gave out, because we count all our candy to make sure we have enough. That was the most trick-or-treaters we've ever had.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Like I said, there were just people there. It was nice. Okay, anybody else? At this time,
Mr. President,
Yes.
I apologize. I admitted to inform everyone that the service starts at 10 o'clock a.m. on the 16th.
on the 16th, okay. Anyone, now this is the time for hearing of the public. We thank you for being patient and waiting with us. If you want to address us, just approach the podium, state your name and your address, and remember, we do have a time limit.
Austin Clark, Columbus Avenue. Me and my wife, we went to Miss Holman's, the Learn and Lunch at ARMC?
Lunch and learn.
Lunch and Learn. That was a wonderful experience, and we were very glad we got to attend. One thing I was wondering if we could do, though, is when we were trying to find the information for that, I actually had to go back and watch the video of the council meeting and fast forward and rewind till I found it. Are we able to get like a post on the Facebook page that highlights the certain events?
Mr. President, so that wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, that was an ARMC event, right? So it wasn't a city event, even though the committee participated in it. I don't know if ARMC had published it anywhere, but that's why we only post our city stuff on our website.
Okay, I wasn't sure because it was said in the meeting, if we could have that information available to us easier. But, okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm not real prepared for this. My name's Dave Kuhn. I'm from North Kingsville. Quick first, the application for the alcohol, should their social security numbers be posted in a public forum
No,
like this?
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to send her a private note and say, next time, yeah, those shouldn't be on there.
Okay, I'm here to talk about, in 1975, I was working at Carlisle's, and the Arrowhead Mall was finished. Farmers Bank made a new building, and the city buried a time capsule. It's in front of Society Bank. I've been trying since February to gain interest on this. For 30 years, I've listened to my mother-in-law telling me about a picture of her family and my brother-in-law wearing a red jacket in it, and she recently passed, and so I've spent the last year looking for it. Haven't received a lot of help in any direction. The The city engineer has offered to go scan it again. He looked, but where he looked wasn't really where it was. Jerome Masick, who had been the editor of the Star Beacon years ago, got some interest in it, and he contacted you, maybe? No. Ken Jameson, who's on the pictures, I handed him, there was a whole book put out. It was like 50-some pages of the opening of the Arrowhead. Now, I know a lot of people didn't care for the Arrowhead, couldn't get a fire truck down it, but it was put in February 8th of 1975 for 3 reasons: Carlisle's, Arrowhead Mall, New Bank. And it's supposed to be dug up on February 8th of this year. It's 50 years. And I've spent all year, I'd never come to a council meeting, I didn't think of it, but it would be nice to get some help, interaction, anything. I've been everywhere. I spent about 2 weeks at the library going through microfilm. I went through about 3 years of microfilm to find it.
Is it February or November 8th?
I'm sorry.
I thought it was
It's
November 8th.
It's November 8th, I'm sorry.
Yes, I thought so.
I'm
November
a
8th.
little dyslexic.
Mr. President, so just to let you know, we've also been contacted quite a bit about it. When we were scanning the sidewalk sections on Main Avenue to discover if there was any basements underneath a lot of the sidewalk, the sonar that we did also have them scanned in the area over by what's now Key Bank, that was Farmers Bank at the time. There were a few areas where there were anomalies. However, was it you that met my staff at the building?
Yeah, I've been to your staff several times,
Oh,
called
that
several times.
recently, like last week, met us down at the building.
No
Okay.
one's ever met me at the building.
So we were contacted by somebody that was there and offered to meet us down there and show us exactly where he thought it was buried. So that has been identified. We are going to do oops tickets on the property, and we are going to dig in that area to see if we can find it. If we do find it, we will then organize a celebration or whatever to open it up. We've contacted the county to tell them that we're going to be digging on the property, but we're going to do our best to try to dig in that area. We did some exploratory. We didn't really see anything, but there's a lot of roots also in the way. So we're going to bring out
It's
some
between the
machinery.
trees in the building and the sidewalk.
Yep,
over.
that's what we were told.
Yeah,
So that's
3
the
and
area
4
we're
foot
gonna
down,
look.
it's between 3 by 4. It was provided by MFG.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cap on it with stainless steel nuts and bolts, so the fiberglass is gonna be hard to find.
Right.
But it's a fairly large vessel that has a lot of things that would be nice, I mean, it'd be nice for the city. I
Yeah.
mean, granted,
So-
there's enough things that,
So if we do find it, we will not open it. We'll do that as a public event.
good, that was
but,
presented to
yeah.
me, that they were
But
gonna
we
dig it
also-
up and then tell us what was in it, which.
We also noticed that very near this area that was identified by the gentleman, it looks like a new storm line was run from the building and dug in that area, so we're hoping that nothing was compromised or thrown away.
Well, the city engineer said he didn't see anything, and he was there when it was dug, and it was put down a minimum of 3 to 4 foot because frost,
Right.
presumably. But if you'd have hit a 3 by 4 foot fiberglass container, you probably would
Well,
have.
that wasn't our project, so we did a project a little bit further down. This was the county's project that did that new storm line, so I don't know if he was there for that one or not. But we have a general location that we're gonna get oopsed and make sure there's no underground utilities that we're gonna hit, and we're gonna try to find it.
Yeah, I sent him a picture today. I talked to the engineer. He's been very upfront about it.
Yeah, we didn't
to
have
try
any,
to-
until somebody presented us with the article, we had no knowledge of it, so.
Yeah, I brought that in about February.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
There was a
doing
good
that work.
suggestion here, maybe Mr. Pugliese or Mr. Varquette would know.
We've contacted Mr. Penna, we contacted all of them.
All of them?
There was a gentleman that was in one of the photos that reached out to us as well.
Yeah.
And now that we have been shown that area, hopefully we'll find it.
Was that Ken Jameson?
I think that's who it was, yes.
He's been texting me the whole
Okay,
time I'm
I
sitting
think
here.
that's who it was, yeah.
He plans, he said, well, I'm gonna come up for it. This is what he told me
Okay.
3 weeks ago. I said, we gotta get it acknowledged
Yeah,
first.
right. No, we've been trying to find it, so, yep.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to read a prepared statement.
Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Blake Hinkle. I live on the corner of Union and West 16th and Ward 1. I'm going to read a prepared statement. Before I do, I ask everyone here to listen to understand and not listen to reply. I am not looking for any response, and I do intend to speak very frankly. Hi, my name's Blake Hinkle. I live on the corner of Union and West 16th in Ward 1. I am coming up here today to speak my support and stand in solidarity with Ms. Holman and her work on the city's abatement process. For the people at home just tuning in, the city, for as long as I've been attending meetings, has taken an overzealous, unwarranted, and counterproductive approach to incentivizing theoretical development. By evangelizing an abatement for all policy, any developer with enough resources or connections can expect to avoid paying property taxes. And that's regardless of the impact their project has on our community. Over the last year, I have witnessed Ms. Holman be the only voice to speak out against this practice. I am sure the people at home are not comfortable with every single developer automatically assuming an abatement. For the record, I have no problem with abatements. When it's targeted, an abatement can become an equitable stepping stone for a locally owned business to expand or to allow a first-time home buyer some extra grace in affording their first home. My sole problem lies within the rich getting richer on the backs of the people that made them rich. I can also tell you what I see. I see the appearance of impropriety. I see a city leveraging development as a way to enrich developers. I see a council more concerned with business as usual than asking the right questions. I see a city whose school is crumbling on the back of empty Airbnbs on Bridge Street. What does Ms. Religious ask in the midst of all of this? Let's just add some language to our abatement form and end the one-size-fits-all policy. I know where I stand in this, but where do you stand as a resident in Ashtabula? We all should stand in solidarity with Ms. Holman demanding more transparency and deliberation in our abatement process. The struggle of our time is one where we must reel in the excesses of corporate America and reorient our fiscal responsibility to be that predominantly of the working class. These very people, since the beginning of time, have kept our city on track. Ashtabulans deserve responsible stewardship of their tax dollars. They deserve the highest quality of life possible. They deserve to have their needs prioritized over the needs of faceless corporations who view our city as a potential customer pool. Thank you for your time.
Haroldine Scruggs, I think you know me by now. I'm going to take 5 minutes. First of all, I think it might be you, Mrs. Mills. There's a whole pothole on Park Avenue with the orange thing. Would that be done before winter sets in? It's right on the side of Carlisle's, that street right in front of Carlisle's. There's a big orange thing in there.
Oh, we talked, yeah, we had
Mr.
talked
President,
about that
so
before.
yes, Mrs. Scruggs, we
Yes.
had to order new rings and lids for that. The rings have come in, the lids are still a couple weeks out. They had to be forged because it's a different size than what's typical. So the rings are in. Our hope is that the lids that are out there will fit on the current rings we have. We're going to try to make that work, and we are going to replace that before the winter time.
Monday. No.
I don't know that quick, but yes.
Second thing is that ARM, the thing at the hospital, I was one of the persons that participated as a citizen of the community. It was very educational because I think they learned some things from some of us that wasn't shy about saying what we felt about the hospital, what they didn't do for or what they did do for us. So it was very educational for me. I went 4 days, and that's unusual for me to attend meetings like that. And the third thing, the last thing, ever who recommended Robert Morrison to have whatever you're gonna give him, some type of plaque, that was the greatest idea you had. I'm a recipient of 50 years working there. The man has done a lot for this community. He has kept a whole lot of people in jobs, a whole lot of people paying taxes, y'all, so I guess that makes you guys happy. But that man deserves it. He's gone on to glory, but his son, Richard, or his nephew is still available to do that. So thank you for thinking of Robert Morrison. I know who he was, and he was one awesome man. A man with money that didn't have a problem sharing it.
Thank you, Mrs. Scruggs. Anyone else?
Yes. I'm basically here for a follow-up, but I wanted to give you some copies of petitions and letters from the citizens and merchants on Bridge Street. And I know Mr. Timonier's been working on this very diligently, and he was very, very good at getting the, I don't know what it's called, the speed limit monitoring. And that was really great for the westbound traffic, nothing for the eastbound though, because they didn't have any reminders. But then it disappeared. So I'm wondering where you're at with that now as far as getting something to slow them down, because they're shooting through there. And I've seen more policemen cruising around the neighborhood, which has been very helpful too, but they're not there when these guys are just tearing through there. We really need somebody who's posted there quite often. Or we mentioned speed bumps. I don't think you were really thrilled about that, but, and then maybe rerouting the construction trucks because they're still speeding through there. Not all of them. There's a lot that do follow the speed limits and they're good about covering their loads so that their gravel's not all over the street, but there's a few that don't. And then the food trucks too, they're starting to speed up and down now also, but yeah, we're getting a few of them. But I wanted to just give you copies of the petition. I had about 60 signatures and some letters from the merchants and the owners on Bridge Street. And you can keep
Mr. President, I was on a business trip on Route 44, just south of that Chardon Square, and I think, I don't think, I saw for sure what I think Mrs. Hines is talking about. It was it was about the size of a stop sign.
Yeah.
It was way smaller than well, the temporary one that we had, and it was mounted right on a power pole, and it was one of those, you know,
Flashing.
it almost looked like it was solar powered.
Yeah, they are.
So
I apologize for not getting out of the car, taking a picture of it.
No.
But when
Yeah.
I saw that,
Yeah.
I had you in mind, and so they're out there.
Well, I think
Mr.
Mr. Timonero is working on getting something. But
Mr. President, Mr. Guerrero, yes, and I think I believe we talked about this in your Safety Forces Committee meeting. So the one that was there was on loan to us from the Highway Patrol.
That's what I
Was it
heard.
Highway Patrol or Sheriff's Department? It was Highway Patrol.
Okay.
And we did move that into a couple different areas of the city while we had it. Unfortunately, it didn't record data. We wish it would have so that we could have shown some of that data. But they do make the signs that Mr. Guerrero is talking about that are actually somewhat portable. So they go on the existing street signs that are out there and they clip in and they're battery operated. And about every 5 to 7 days, those batteries need to be changed and charged. So that would be the case where if we had one or two of these where we could use them and there is a subscription. The subscription's a little bit expensive to pull data off of it. Might be worth doing for a little while. But we could then move those to different locations around the city when we change the batteries. That's kind of what we're looking at possibly for next spring.
Okay, but there's nothing that you could actually post on the telephone poles that are flashing, like the schools have to remind people to slow down?
So we're not allowed to attach anything to the telephone poles. We possibly could, this would go on a speed limit sign
Okay.
that we would have to erect ourselves. Besides the flashing that it has,
Okay.
there would be no other
Well,
lights to that.
all the speed limit signs now are on the poles.
Don't tell anyone. Yeah, so as the poles go away, we're not allowed to reattach anything to them. The stuff that's out there.
The poles go away, they're
and
all
if-
the utility poles, every
Correct.
one of
So
them.
if a pole gets hit or they have to replace the pole for any reason, we're not allowed to reattach anything to
Okay,
those
well, I
poles.
don't think there's an awful lot of poles
There is an
going up
awful lot
and
of
down
poles,
Bridge
yes.
Street too. So, that's okay. There's something else, I lost my train of thought now, but what about the rerouting the trucks? You had mentioned in one of the meetings that you were concerned about funding from the state.
That's correct. We're still waiting for those opinions to come back. There's been a lot of communication back and forth with the state as far as
Okay.
whether or not we would lose any kind of
Funding.
funding because of the state route if we limit it to truck traffic.
Okay.
We're hoping to get all that ironed out. And then there is a process where we petition ODOT. If we're able to do it, we would petition ODOT to change the weight limit.
Okay.
And so it's done by weight limit. You just can't say no trucks. It would be done by weight limit of those trucks. And then they would have to publish a new route for those trucks to take. So there is a little bit of back end work we have to do in order, if that's able to be done.
Is there any way of reducing the speed limit? And then if you did that, maybe they would be going 25, 30 miles an hour? That's what a lot of the residents are suggesting you do. So I don't know if that's a
Yeah, the next-
possibility or not.
I mean, it's set at 25 now. We understand that people
They're doing
are speeding.
55 and 60. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have what we call the terrorists. There's about 3 of them that like to go speeding down and rev their cars and their bikes as loud as they can, 1 and 2 in the morning. So I don't know how you stop that unless you have a police officer out there and could catch them. But, so I don't know. And they also mentioned that he had hired, the chief of police said that hired new recruits, but it would be a while for the training. And I'm wondering, have they been trained yet to where we could get one of them to sit there maybe and give out some tickets?
We're never going to have enough people to actually sit somebody 24/7 on Bridge Street, but we do patrols, and we do, when we have time and have the resources,
I
we do
have seen them.
station.
Yeah, I've seen
We do
them.
station someone.
But I've never seen them
the-
actually sitting anywhere on Bridge Street any day or time.
Hopefully you wouldn't, because we would be decoyed so that other people didn't see us too. And we
I
could catch
want
them
them
speeding.
to see you, because then they'll slow down.
Well, we would like to catch them actually
Yeah.
speeding and give them the tickets.
Yeah.
So, but the recruits that you mentioned, I think we have 3 that are going to be cut loose at the end of
Okay.
November. But that brings us up to regular staffing levels.
Well, I had heard a rumor that somebody was hit and run very recently, but I don't have any details on that. And they didn't report it or call it in. That's all I heard, in front of Bascules. So it's
I've
getting
heard
a
that.
little dangerous, so,
Thank you, Mrs. Hines.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony Oquendo. I'm in Ward 1. Just a couple things. I'm going to be pretty quick. So just a thought I had that I would just love to put in everybody's ear. Of course, we want to make Ashtabula beautiful. Ashtabula beautiful, right? That's our saying. One thing that I thought about is, how can we utilize the Ashtabula River? Well, one idea that I had just by looking at a topical view of Ashtabula and the river itself is Tannery Hill, where the old Gentlemen's Club used to be. That lot is vacant and it's right on the riverbank. If we could turn that into a beautiful riverside park, I think that would be wonderful for the residents. It would, in my eyes, it would be very similar to the Small Gulf Park down there, which drives a lot of people down there to just have recreation, fishing, walking, and then possibly a footbridge that goes over the river to the Indian trails, make it kind of like a checkpoint off of the Indian trails. I think that would be a great idea. So I just want to put that in everybody's ear. Also, I couldn't help but notice on the agenda for today, for the public comments portion, it says at council's discretion, and I've never seen that wording on there, and I'm not exactly sure when it changed, but I did take the time to look up the council rules, and unless this has changed from the last amendment of 6/17/19, Rule 13, Rule 13C, it says the business at all regular council meetings shall be transacted in the following order, and then it lists the agenda order, and then right under the public comment section, it says general matters. And then underneath that, it says, during the portion of the meeting titled Public Comments on Legislation Only is when the public may comment on the legislation agenda. The public may address council on matters of general nature during public comment general matters portion. So I'm not exactly sure when that changed or why it changed, but it does kind of seem like the council would, in my eyes, as a member of the public, it does look like council may not honor that portion at one point, but I don't think that's in alignment with the rules.
Mr. Aquendo, that's the pre-council meeting. At the regular council.
So do I have the wrong?
Well, at pre-council, we always don't allow
Okay,
Depending on time and depending on topic, we may not have public discussion at the pre-council meeting.
so this is for the pre-council that I have here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
If you have the regular council agenda, you'll notice it just says citizens, public communication on general matters.
Gotcha. Okay, well then I guess that solves that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
And you're, yeah, I'm gonna say.
Mr. President, Mr. Aquendo, the city's Port Authority feels the same way you do about the Tanner Hill property, so they actually own that property. We've done a lot of environmental, because it was a tannery in the past. There's been a lot of environmental studies, phase 1, phase 2 on the property. There's a little bit of contaminant still down there that they're working through how to get cleaned up. But there is a lot of discussion on our city's Port Authority about that particular topic and what to do with that property once we can get it remediated and with better access to the public.
If you we are aware of the public meeting, the zoning committee meeting and so forth, one of the topic that came up was the golf. How,
It's a big focus of the new
yeah,
plan,
it's
yes.
a big focus. So that's the 13th, right?
Yes, please come to that.
13th, so
Yeah.
attend to that. That was a big discussion, the golf.
There's not a building there anymore?
Anyone else who would like to address council?
Hi, Rebecca Quirk, Ward 2. I'd like to echo something that I heard a person comment on just a few minutes ago, because I wasn't aware previously when we were discussing tax abatements for new construction that some of the units would be used for Airbnb, that they were like for profit, using housing as commodity instead of for people to live in. And I wondered if that was something that had been looked into in a conversation earlier today. I was speaking with a few people, a few members of the public, about Councillor Holman's request that some specific language was added to the regulations that were required in order for people to receive the tax abatement, and that there was a lot of pushback. And I was just wondering where that is now. Or blank? Are we talking about? Oh,
No,
so there is.
I understand what you're saying, but you're looking at me when the council would legislate that. So if council determines that they
So
want
look
to make.
this way?
If council determines they would like to make changes to the language or to the program, then we would administer it accordingly.
It's easier to make eye contact with one person than everyone, because I only have one lazy eye. But,
Well, and
Okay, so-
as you may remember too, when we had some situations come up where they were different, I did propose to council a lesser tax abatement for a particular property, and that was reversed.
wonderful. So council, has there been further communication about adding specific language around the use of properties for new construction, or whether people need to be residents of Ashtabula, whether there's going to be any benefit to the people who live here in the short term, or anything of that type of conversation?
I will say that Ms. Holman did, one thing that she's brought up that I think people seem to agree with was the but-for clause, which would be a simple addition to it. Doesn't change things a whole lot.
That's
but
the problem, maybe.
But it at least creates the, it lets us know that, okay, this person's saying, look, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be building.
Mr. President, just a quick correction on that. So although it's a simple add to an application or anything like that, it completely changes our residential process. Because right now, we require the certificate of occupancy, all of the receipts and completion of construction before they apply. If you did the but-for clause, we would have to change that and develop some type of process where it's approved prior to any construction beginning. And on the commercial side, that is by Ohio Revised Code, it states in there that an abatement cannot be issued after construction has started. So any construction on the commercial side
if there is an abatement, would have to be approved by council prior to anything happening. If they already started, there's no chance for an abatement. So it would change the processes on the residential side.
But commercial side would be fine.
Commercial is before, and we're already doing it. Commercial, we have to collect employment. And again, all of the abatements are reviewed by a committee of council and then brought to council for approval to continue them every year.
So the really unique and incredible thing that Ashtabula holds that the rest of the country doesn't is that we're 10 years behind everyone. So we see what's on, in a good way, in a really good way, Mr. Roskovics, because we see what's happening with development all around the country and the way that cities are going, the way that like encampments are going, with people not being able to find safe, secure housing that's affordable. So the benefit is that we have the vision, we have the view of like what's happening to other cities, and we can learn from other models about how we want to handle development and whether it's incremental and whether it's serving the people that live here or serving the people who want to do business here and just commoditize and get these breaks.
All right, thank you.
You know,
I would just say, oh, go ahead, Mr. Guerrero.
I understand your position, but I am a proponent of the tax abatements, and I want to use that in my ward, like where Winterfield was, because I was the one that objected to that 75% abatement. I wanted them to get 100% abatement. And and correct me if my math is wrong, if you have a vacant lot that's paying relatively zero taxes, and you times that by 7 years, that would still be zero, correct?
So we're talking about Winterfield?
We're talking about any
Well, no, I
vacant
think that's
lot
a
in general.
perfect-
I'm just saying.
But that's a
that
perfect example.
If you, I'm using that because that's my ward.
Absolutely, and it's perfect because that went up for sale without anyone knowing. So the school board just kind of made an under-the-table agreement with a private buyer and sold it under value. And why is the school board selling off this land, and why
Well,
are
that
we?
would be their problem. I mean, I don't know why they did that, but I'm just saying that the individual people that bought those building lots and that are building those houses there, one of the incentives for them to do that instead of Saybrook, instead of wherever, is they're getting the abatement from us.
Yes.
When you're building a new house, you could build it anywhere.
So back to Winterfield.
Okay.
So that sale that went through, it's.
Winterfield went through the land bank. Because the property was in decline, like like if we have property in the city that's in decline and nobody's taking care of it, then it goes through the land bank, and then the land bank works.
It's my understanding that it was sold directly through the school board, as was the land from Harbor High. That was a conversation that we had in council here maybe a year ago.
Mr. President, so this body, and of course all of that transpired before any of us were here, that any transaction that the school board owned would have to run through the school board.
Right.
So
But then the tax abatement on top of that, yeah.
I recall that there were, I think it was publicly bid for those properties.
No.
Well, I can't say that because I'm
gotcha.
not part of that body, but that's something that the school district could provide the information on. When the current owner, or I'm sorry, not the current owner, but the former owner of Winterfield wanted to dispose of it, I believe that land was donated to the land bank, and then the land bank took it on for development.
That's where we came.
A private individual owned that and allowed the community to use it as a football field for quite a while.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
And all I can say is that, this council has heard quite a bit about tax abatement
Yes.
over this past year.
Yes.
No other counselor has decided to second the
I know.
concerns. And
I know.
So I think that, as Mr. Guerrero says, we feel comfortable. In fact, when Mr. Timonir tried to reduce in the one situation, council overrode him, or whatever the word would be.
The level of comfort, I think, is the concern with all the citizens that I've spoken with. And so, Councilor Holman, I want to thank you for being using such stick-to-itiveness to make sure that people of Ashtabula are being served and not just someone's cousin. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. President, thank you all for continuing this conversation, because I do believe it requires more exploration and not just an automatic knee-jerk denial, because I think there are benefits that we should consider. And I will say that I haven't dropped it. It's, we have our solicitor's office who's doing further exploration so that I can bring it back to council. So just know that it's still on the table, but we just have to find out more information so I can present it to council. But thank you all for keeping that alive.
Anyone else who would like to address council? Seeing no one, council is going into executive session, at which time we will return and just adjourn our meeting. Thank you for coming.